NASA sent 3 people to the moon. They took thousands of photos. And then, they buried them in a way nobody could actually experience. Until Hank Green, a science communicator with no official backing, built a website that the space agency should have built years ago. When you open it, you're not looking at a photo gallery. You're looking at the moment someone left Earth. Synced to the exact second it happened. Let's talk about scale first. The Artemis II mission lasted 10 days. During those 10 days, the crew captured 1,600 photographs. That's 1 photo every 9 minutes, on average. But here's what breaks your brain. Those 1,600 images contain visual evidence of humanity leaving its home planet, orbiting the moon, and coming back. That's the entire human experience of space in a single mission, compressed into a week and a half, preserved in pixels. Now imagine trying to experience those 1,600 moments, not as a slideshow, not as a gallery, but as they actually happened, in real time, at the same pace the astronauts lived them. That would take you 10 days to get through. Most people don't have 10 days. So NASA did what NASA always does. They posted the photos to a database. A very well organized database. Completely unusable for understanding what it actually felt like to be there. This is where Hank Green enters. You might know him as the YouTuber, or the brother of John Green, or as the guy who turned infectious disease into a TED Talk people actually watched. But what Hank Green is, fundamentally, is someone who understands something NASA forgot, that data and experience are not the same thing. He built a website called Artemis Views. On the surface, it's simple. You move a slider, the photos change. But underneath that slider is something radical. Time. Actual, real, lived time. The photos are arranged not by what they show, but by when they were taken. You start at launch. You move forward. You watch Earth get smaller. Not because someone told you it was happening, but because you're watching it happen at the speed light traveled to those cameras. Here's the unsettling part. This took one person, without NASA's resources, without official backing, without a budget, to make something that made a technological achievement feel like something instead of just being something. NASA has the photos. NASA has the infrastructure. NASA has unlimited budget. But what they didn't have was the willingness to build an experience instead of a database. Scale this up in your head. The distance from Earth to the Moon is 238,900 miles. That's 9.5 times around the Earth's equator. If you drove a car at highway speed the entire way, it would take you 412 days. The Artemis crew covered that distance in 3 days. When you slide through Hank's timeline and watch the Earth shrink from what looks like a beach ball to a marble to a blue dot, you're experiencing what took those astronauts 72 hours to feel. But you're doing it in minutes. And somehow, impossibly, that makes it more real, not less. What's fascinating is what the timeline reveals that photographs alone never could. It's not just the destination. It's the texture of waiting. There are stretches of photos where nothing seems to change. Just the same view out the window, 30 minutes of near identical frames. That's not a failure of the experience. That's the honesty of it. Space travel isn't a series of climactic moments. It's a series of moments punctuated by hours of normalcy and all stacked on top of each other until you're orbiting a world you came from. When you scroll through that timeline and hit the photos from lunar orbit, something shifts. The moon suddenly stops being a concept. It becomes a place. A real place that real people traveled to and looked at and photographed. Because you watched the journey. You didn't get briefed on it. You lived it at compressed speed. But here's where it gets genuinely strange. Hank Green isn't a space scientist. He's not an engineer. He's a person who understood something fundamental about how humans process information. We don't believe facts. We believe stories. And the most powerful story isn't the destination. It's the before, the during, and the after. The timeline. The progression. The shift from one state of being to another. NASA had all the pieces. But they gave us inventory. Hank Green gave us narrative. One person with a code editor and an idea about what the human mind actually responds to build something that made space exploration feel real in a way that thousands of official photographs never could. And that's the question that stays with you after you close the website. If one person can reorganize existing data into something that changes how you feel about an entire mission, what else are we experiencing wrong? What other stories are buried in databases, waiting for someone to realize that the medium is the message? What else have we learned but failed to experience? The Artemis program is real. The moon is real. But the feeling of leaving Earth, that's something NASA captured but didn't know how to share. Until now. Until a person who isn't part of the institution looked at what they'd built and asked, what if we let people feel this instead of just seeing it? That question has no answer yet. But it's out there. And once you've asked it, you can't stop wondering what else we've been missing.